Ahava blessings. Shabbat blessings. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, the day of the goddess, and today we are going to talk about the Hathors, the Pleaides, and the Venus lineage, Sarai the matriarch, and what all this has to do with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. For those that don't know me, welcome to this video. My name is Aurea. I am an ordained Magdalene priestess, a Reiki master, energy and sound alchemist. And as I will be holding space for a beautiful online retreat during the Pleiadean Alignment, I thought it fitting to share the connection between Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and the Christ lineage and how it connects to Venus, to Hathor, and the Pleiades. Sarai the matriarch. Let's start in the beginning. Well, the beginning would be this. The beginning would be that Hathor, the seven Hathors, she is a goddess. And she is a primordial goddess because even to the ancient Egyptians, she was seen as ancient. So she was before their quote unquote religion, before their priestly sects. She was a primordial creation goddess associated with Venus. And the seven sisters, the seven Hathors, were frequencies. They incarnated at a point in time in Egypt, and they ascended together, and it is said that the Pleiades was their home as the seven sisters, the seven Pleiadian sisters, in the constellation of Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus, is where their home was. And this is how we get the connection to Venus, Hathor, and the Pleiades, between those three things. How do we make the connection from the Hathors and the Pleiades to Yeshua and Mary Magdalene? Well, in biblical times, Sarai the matriarch, the first matriarch of the Christ lineage, wife of Abraham, they traveled from Canaan to ancient Egypt during a famine, and they sought refuge in ancient Egypt. And it is said that because Abraham was afraid that the Pharaoh, this is Sarai the matriarch, well, a depiction of her from the lovely deck of my beautiful teacher and friend Ana Otero, because she was so beautiful and so radiant, he wanted to hide her because he didn't want the Pharaoh to basically take her from him. And then because he wanted to be protected, because usually pharaohs take what they want and then they off the husband. He wanted to protect himself, and he basically said that she was his sister. So this is what happened when they came upon the Pharaoh's people. And then the Pharaoh saw her and he fell to his knees, and he was so blown away by her beauty, because she had basically been traveling through the desert in a box, and she was still radiant and beautiful when she emerged. It is then that the Egyptians made the connection between Sarai the matriarch, Sarah, and Hathor, the goddess of love, fertility, beauty, and creation, the ancient primordial goddess of the Egyptians. And they believed that she was an incarnation of Hathor. And during this time, many high dimensional beings like the Hathors did incarnate in human form. And they incarnated to reveal wisdom, to reveal awakening, to awaken people, to reveal wisdom, and to cement and anchor their higher dimensional energy on the earth. So Sarai the matriarch, at an advanced age, it is said that she never aged. Let's touch on that. What does it mean to never age? And nowadays, as a humanity, we are so obsessed with not looking our age to the point where we go into surgery, we go under the knife, we put toxins in our face, and then we wonder why we look freaking weird and why our emotions are off. It's because the neurotoxin we inject in our face interferes with the signaling of your face, your muscles, with the brain, which in turn, in later in time, I honestly believe it makes you a sociopath. Because if your brain cannot process and identify certain emotions, then the brain begins to not function. The neurons just don't function the way they should. I suggest if you want to go down that rabbit hole, that you do so, because I've gone down it and it's quite interesting. So, and it's also made me to be like, no, we're not doing that. So I strongly discourage you from, well, I don't discourage you from doing anything. Do whatever you please. However, do your research before you decide to inject something in your body. That's all I will say about that. As back to Sarai the matriarch and her not aging. The energetic reason why she did not age is because of how attuned and aligned she was with her light body, her energy body, her soul, the divine template on which her physical body was created. She was in such deep alignment with the divine, with her soul, with her mission, with her energetic template fully active in her body, that her physical body, it didn't age the way other people's body aged. It behaved in its own little bubble because of how attuned and aligned and integrated she was with her light body. And you will find this amongst people who are deep into their spiritual work. You will find that they often do not look their age. I've been told many times that I do not look 45. So it's not because of filters, because if you look at my videos, I do not use filters on them. So again, every being has an energetic template, which means and the thing about Sarai the matriarch and the thing about people that are spiritual, we're not doing the spiritual practice to reverse age. We're not doing it for like a pat on the back or virtue signaling or some other BS like that. We are genuinely following our spiritual path because that is genuinely what it calls for us. That is what inspires us. That is what wakes us up and makes us get up and do this video and do the research and continue developing myself so I can share this wisdom. We do this because it's a strong pull from our soul, and we just cannot live without doing it, because we will feel empty and hollow and not alive inside. And having pursued a career that was not in alignment with my soul and not in alignment with the divine, I really, from my personal experience, can tell you how dead it feels to be living a life that is not yours, that does not feel anything, not even remotely like you. So I can attest to the fact that when you do follow your mission, when you do live from the authentic self of who you are, you will experience different results as an effect of the causes you are making. Now, you may look younger than your years. You may have more joy, more vitality, more wisdom, doesn't matter. Because it's not about the result. It's about how you feel day in and day out doing the thing that you're doing, okay? So that's about Sarai. Oh, and I do want to mention this. Sarai the matriarch gave birth to Isaac at an advanced age through light conception. So it was, again, we get those threads of light conception weaved into the Venus Desert Rose lineage of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. Moving forward in time, we have Mother Anna. Mother Anna also was a woman of faith, mother of Mother Mary. And she was told by the Archangel Gabriel that she would conceive a child. She had been praying for one for years, and it wasn't until she was 90 that she was able to give birth to Mother Mary. And it is said that Mother Mary is the highest incarnation, one of the highest spiritual beings that have ever walked. And that is how she was birthed, through light conception, and she embodied all of the teachings and all of the ancient esoteric wisdom, the mystical teachings of the Essenes and of this lineage. And she was a trained priestess as well, as she went into the temple at the age of 3. And she was highly advanced, and then she gave birth to Yeshua through light conception. Now, we come to Yeshua, the light. And his name has deep mysticism. And if you guys would like me to share the mysticism of his name, Yeshua, I can share that in a different video. And now we come to Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. Miriam Magdala, Miriam HaMigdal. Miriam was also a high being. She was a priestess of her lineage. They were Hebrew, they were Israelites. So there was no Egyptian connection at this time, as there were no mystery schools of Isis in Jerusalem, in Canaan, in this Holy Land. It did not exist. In 1st century Roman occupied Judea, there was no temple of Isis. There was no connection to the practices that happened in ancient Egypt. Okay, so I do want to say that, as there is quite a bit of misconception about this, and people talk what they talk and they don't have any actual evidence for what they are saying. Historically, there is no and was no temple of Isis, no mystery schools of Isis in the Holy Land during the 1st century AD. They were followers and devotees of Asherah, Hebrew goddess, Essene's mystical divine feminine wisdom. That is what they were. That was what their oral tradition was, as there was the divine feminine teachings, which were transmitted orally, and then there was the written rabbinic priestly teachings. Mary Magdalene was born into a wealthy family. How do we know this? Because the town she was born into, the town that she hails from, is a town that was very prosperous on the Sea of Galilee, Migdal, and they found many beautiful archaeological excavations. They've done excavations of ancient temples, also Hebrew temples. So let's keep the lineage in alignment with what it is. They were Jews, they were Hebrews. They were mystics within the Jewish Israel Hebrew tradition, but they were Hebrews nonetheless. Mary Magdalene was a teacher, and she was also a student, a disciple of Yeshua. He was her teacher. And she was the one that was chosen to receive his most ancient wisdom, his deepest teachings. She was the one that received transmissions that the other disciples did not. And it is actually said in several Gospels that Peter and the other disciples would ask her, "Sister, share with us what our master has taught you that he has not shared with us." Do your own research. Gospel of Mother, there's the Gospel of the Birth of Mary, the Proto-Evangelium of James. There is the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which is in portions, I know. There's the Gospel of Philip and the Gospel of Thomas. Those are the ones that I suggest. And that is where we get the connection from Yeshua and Mary Magdalene all the way to the Hathors, the Pleaides, and Venus. Venus, Netzach, in the Tree of Life template, is the ruler of Taurus. Pleiades, Pleiadean constellation, is in the eye of Taurus, of the constellation of Taurus. And so we come into this moment where we will be having a fantastic energetic portal that is the Pleiadean Alignment. The Pleiadean Alignment happens twice a year. It happens in mid-May and it happens in mid-November. In mid-May, the Pleiades is aligned with the sun. So it is in conjunction with the sun. In November, it is on the other side of the earth. So it is in opposition to the sun. And it is a very powerful time to connect with the frequencies of unconditional love, of creation, of abundance, of fertility, of mission, because Venus isn't just a fluffy love, fertility, hedonistic planet and a frequency, because planets are frequencies. It's not just that. In Kabbalistic mystical traditions, Venus is also aligned, deeply aligned with your mission, with being in Ahava. Ahava is love in service. It's translated as love, but it is a love that is a commitment. It is a love that requires discipline. It is a love that is action. It is a love that is doing. It is fulfilling. It is moving forward. It is a love that is about discipline, commitment, and doing the things that your soul came here to do. So we will be connecting with mission. We will be connecting with lineage and healing a lot of the lineage. As what's interesting about the seven sisters, and I mentioned this in one of my videos on Instagram, we often speak about the seven sisters, but we never speak about her parents. We never speak about Pleione and Atlas, her parents, who are in the stars as well, in the same constellation right next to the seven sisters. So we have this constellation, we have this disconnect between the self and the divine mother father. And this is another aspect that I am called to bring awareness to and to activate and heal within us during the Pleiadean alignment, to heal our relationship and our embodiment of the divine masculine and divine feminine as they relate to our own personal lineage, but also as they relate to our relationship to the divine. Because we've been conditioned and we've been taught that God is masculine, but God is not masculine, just like the archangels are not masculine. God is everything, all. Masculine, feminine, it's an integration, an amalgamation of all of the energy. It is neither black nor white. It is neither form nor formless. It is neither, and that's I think in the Pistis Sophia, it is neither seen or unseen. It is neither masculine or feminine. It is all. And this is why it actually is more, it's more in alignment to call the divine mother father, because of the union of the two. Because on the earth, the two frequencies go into the mother and the father, and then they birth the divine child together, which is us. So I honestly feel that we need to heal that disconnect, that discord that we have with our relationship with the mother and the father, because the disconnect we have with these relationships prevents us from actually manifesting and birthing our mission into physicality, into the world, into our experience. We will be diving into the energies of creation, of power and sovereignty, and healing that, as well as our energy of the heart, because the Pleaides is associated with unconditional love. And we will also be going into divine wisdom, as the Pleiades is associated with divine feminine wisdom. And we will be healing our relationship to our vision, our intuition, our knowing, because it's so easy to not have a clear vessel and to allow our intuition to be distorted. It's not that we allow it to be distorted. It's that we often are not aware enough of the energy we hold in our body that we can inadvertently distort what we are receiving, the messages we are receiving, because we are filtering them through the lens of our own pain, our own trauma, our own loss. And the more that we do that, the more that we continue to experience separation in our world, as opposed to integrating and unifying the polarities, not only in our world, but within ourselves. So this is a very powerful alignment. It is May 19th through the 22nd. It is an online retreat. You can sign up using the link in my bio. I'll link it in the first comment below as well. And it will be online, so you can do the meditations, do the activations when you feel is right. I do highly recommend you do them during the day. So at some point in time in your day, do the activations, as this alignment in May is a perfect time to do your meditations. Even if it's just one of the meditations, do it during the day. The one in November is a time to do meditations at night, so it might be better to do it in November. Actually, okay, I might be offering another one in November. In November, it would be a wonderful time to do the activations in the evening. In May, this upcoming alignment during the day, and then I will be sharing the transmissions from Cyprus, which is the Isle of Aphrodite, the Isle of Venus. I will also, I'm thinking that I can make this happen. I will be in Greece on a layover for about 8 hours, and I should be able to make it to a sacred site close to the airport. And I will share a sound activation from there as well. During our time together, you will be receiving mantras in Aramaic and Pleiadian light language. You will be receiving sound transmissions. You will be receiving wisdom teachings and mantras and movement meditations. So do click the link in the bio if you feel called to join. Have a blessed, blessed day of the goddess. Shabbat blessings, Ahava. Blessings.